All right, welcome everyone for today's session. Thank you for joining us today, and we're going to go over what is new in knowledge management for Orlando. We're just going to take a few moments to allow our attendees to kind of filter in. And in the meantime, I'll just tell you, please use the chat window to post your questions. You can use the Q&A, but the chat allows us to also keep those questions and put them on the community. This session will be recorded or is being recorded, and it will be available on the community link that I'll be providing in the chat. So we'll just, we have a couple more minutes before the start of the hour. So I'm going to probably repeat this for the next attendees that come in. But again, we want to thank you for joining us. If you're always looking for the next sessions, we do post them on the community. I can also provide that link in the chat window. We'll just take a few moments. We do welcome your questions, and so we're excited to have you join us today. As a quick reminder, when you're using the chat, please make sure you select either all panelists and attendees. That way everyone gets to see your question. We'll be getting started momentarily. So your patience is really appreciated right now. We've got a few more people who are coming in. So really excited to be able to have your questions. We hope you do share this today's event with some of your colleagues and invite them to the community so that they can find not only more events, but different types of blogs and some podcasting, questions and answers, and of course, some of the new stuff that might be coming up in the next releases. Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Hello, everyone. A big thanks for joining in, and really excited to be here. This is a webinar about the knowledge management capabilities that we are releasing for Orlando. I am Lokenath, a product manager for the knowledge management. With me, I have Kathryn. Hey, Kathryn, will you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, everyone. Kathryn Randazzo. I'm an Outbound Product Manager for knowledge management.
Thanks. So both of us will be taking you through this presentation. So before we jump into Orlando, a little bit of context of what we have done so far in the previous releases. So knowledge management journey started with Geneva, and over the multiple releases till Kingston, we really stabilized the product with multi-KB experience, which we called the V3 knowledge. Several other knowledge governance related features like user criteria for knowledge security, article templates for standardizing how your knowledge articles look and feel is controlled, version control, contextual search for agents in context, creation of articles from tasks like cases, incidents, etc. We got a Pink Verify certification in Kingston. Over to London, we released a lot of exciting features like actionable feedback, where we can capture the feedback from end users and improve the knowledge articles based on that. We released our first dashboards based on PA. Knowledge blocks was introduced in London, which allows users to reuse their knowledge content. Communities and agent assist were also introduced in London. London was a big landmark for the product as we got KCS V6 certified. We were the first product which is integrated with incident or task management that got KCS V6 certification. Over to Madrid, we had ownership groups for improving the ownership of articles, guided to help you easily set up your knowledge management modules. We added some language-based searches, multilingual search, some configurability with extension points. In New York, we really concentrated on translations and using third-party translation APIs for automating your translation processes. We released some machine learning based features like similar articles, some more improvements on templates to better style your articles, um, some work on search relevancy through unified search index, and we introduced our first mobile app and the knowledge experience in that. With this journey, I'll move on to Orlando, and these are the features that we are going to cover. The first one is knowledge demand insights. It's again a machine learning driven feature, and I'll cover that in a bit. We enhance the knowledge experience on Agent Workspace for having the entire knowledge capabilities in your Agent Workspace. Improved some aspects of it like version compare, actionable feedback on flagged articles, similar articles from case, etc. We released a feature for knowledge-based security, which is scope knowledge bases. And all of these three will be demoed in this session so that you have more. And some other features which we are not going to demo, but we'll talk through them. One is scheduled article publishing, which was again released in Orlando, where you can schedule when an article gets published instead of publishing it immediately. And the other one was extending support for article templates in knowledge blocks. We'll talk through these in some time. With that, let me jump into a deep dive of the Orlando features. The first capability that we are going to cover is knowledge demand insights. And really excited to present this. So if you think about knowledge manager, the top questions that knowledge manager thinks about, or even a customer service manager, when they think about self-service, what is the top question that goes on in their minds? Definitely one of them is, hey, what are the next few articles that I'm going to create so that my end users or customers or employees can self-serve, right? So knowledge demand insights automates that entire process. This is the first version that got released in Orlando, and we are going to make incremental improvements in this because obviously this is not an easy problem to solve. So what this helps is, what this feature helps in is knowledge admins can identify what are the gaps in a knowledge base based on what is the inbound cases, incidents, and other kinds of tasks that they receive. This basically reduces the overhead of knowledge managers or admins of like reading through maybe millions or thousands of closed cases and using their experience to create knowledge gaps. So this will help you identify the topics on which your knowledge base lacks coverage and create actionable tasks so that your authors can pick them up and create articles out of it. So with that introduction, let me jump into the demo of this. So what do we do through a combination of multiple heuristic and machine learning techniques is we populate a dashboard like this, and this is a sample dashboard for case. We are also releasing out of the box another dashboard for incident. These two will be out of the box. And the reason both of these are separate dashboards is because usually your knowledge bases that serve your customers versus your employees are different. So we have different dashboards. And then if you want to configure the same capability for any other task, like HR case, for example, or any other kind of task, you can do that. All you have to do is take a copy of this dashboard and do some configurations that, that we will keep in the guided setup of knowledge management. So what does this dashboard contain? So each block that you see here is a collection of cases, and these cases have been determined by the system and the machine learning and heuristics that these cases do not have a good knowledge coverage, which means that either there was no article attached to that case, or there was no reference of any article in anywhere on the case, like the comments or the work notes, etc. Or there aren't similar articles in the knowledge base which are similar to these cases. So what we do is we group such cases into each of these collections. So what you can see is probably your hundreds and thousands of cases have been grouped into smaller chunks, and you can analyze each of these chunks and create your knowledge gaps. We also have a Pareto chart here. So This basically means how many of these collections you need to resolve so that you can cover 80% of your cases or incidents or whatever tasks you're using in ServiceNow. Right. So when I get inside one of such collections, you can see that this collection is made up of about 97 cases. This could be thousands of cases in a real life production example, but even for a human being to analyze 97 cases and coming up with what are the knowledge gaps is a pretty humongous job. So what you have given here is an ability to generate a representative sample, which which kind of runs another machine learning algorithm on this collection and reduces it to a manageable number of cases. And here you can go inside these cases, analyze them, and once you know what article you need to create, so this looks like some of these are regarding instance unavailability. So that could be one possible gap that you have, and the other one is on how to roll back an instance probably. So once you have done this analysis, you select those cases. You can select all, or you can select a subset of these cases and create a knowledge gap. So we are in our future enhancements, we'll try to populate this description automatically from an analysis done on these cases. But for now, this list of 10 cases has to be manually analyzed, and you can say that I create an article for outages on an instance. And when you click on OK, this creates a feedback task in the background. And this, if you open this feedback task, this task is assigned, it can be assigned to a user or a group of users. And you have different rules that you can use for these. And once you have this task created, then you can actually measure what time has been spent on this task, what is its state, and when it can be completed. And if it is assigned to an author or a group of authors, they can create an article directly from it, and they can look at the description from just entered on this. So they can use these pointers, and also if they want, they can look at what cases from what cases this task has been created in the related list and create an article out of it. So once you have done the analysis for all of these case collections, what you have is a knowledge base which has articles that are much closer to the history of cases that have been created. And for future cases which are of a similar topic, you have a much better knowledge base to self-serve your customers. So that ends the demo of this feature. If there are any questions, we can take a pause and take the questions.
I'm not seeing any questions yet. I can also just double check no questions yet. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next feature, and this is about the knowledge experience on Agent Workspace. So before Orlando, you could still use knowledge on Workspace, but it didn't have a full feature parity with what you could do from the classic or the platform. So it's not a platform. What we did in Orlando, we kind of ported all of those features that are relevant to an author or an agent to the Agent Workspace. So now you can create articles, edit articles, you can translate articles, you can flag, fix articles from the knowledge base, all of these things. We did some improvements like the version compare in the platform. We did an improved version of it in the workspace. I'll show it in just a few minutes. What this gives you is a multi-tab knowledge experience. So you can have multiple cases open, multiple articles open, and you can work between them without the need to open multiple browsers or multiple windows to do your work. So as an agent or an author, whatever you'd like to do in the ServiceNow Classic or platform, you can do that in Workspace. With that, let me move to the demo. So if you are already using Agent Workspace, or if you have installed Agent Workspace, you should see on the left-hand side on the lists a new category called knowledge. And in that, you'll have some sub-menu items. And you can see a list of all knowledge articles here. your own unpublished articles. If you have any draft or articles in review, those can show up here. The other articles created by you will show up in this link. And this is a link of all articles. So for the purpose of this, let me open an existing article, and this is how it looks. This is article view page, which is improved from New York. We have added an estimate of how long this article could be to read, when it was last updated, average rating and all, who revised it last, and some feedback options. Like if another user comes into the workspace and another agent comes in and they're looking at a different article, they can rate or mark an article as helpful or not helpful. Um, so let me just edit and show you the article creation experience in Workspace. So to create, I have to create or edit this article. I have to click on checkout, which opens the article form. And you see the basic fields here, like the knowledge base, category, you can fill in all this, ownership group. This also, you can fill in a short description. Then your HTML fields, if you want a bigger view for this, you can just go full screen and do this edit. So here we also have the other fields that we used to have, like if you want to display attachments. And this is a feature that I'm going to talk about in some time. You can schedule when to publish this article. You can set it valid to date till when you want this article to not expire. Another interesting feature here is you also have the agent assist here. So let's say as an author or a content creator, you're trying to create an article, and you know that you have different content that is all around your system. It might be in some community blogs, it might be in community questions, it might be in some resolved case or in some knowledge articles. You can search in those and get the relevant content and put that in your article to create a better article. So the agent assist view is also available here. And this is resizable. So if you need, you can move this around for your real estate needs. So the other thing that I'm going to show here is an improved version compare. So if you go to the article versions related list here and you select two different versions, you can click on compare and see a side-by-side compare of the two versions. So you can see what changed, what got deleted, what got added, and all of those changes. And this is much better than the platform view of article compare, because there it was more of an HTML compare with the HTML tags and all. This is a pure text compare with the HTML styling working behind the scenes. So you have a much easier job as a reviewer or an approver to see what actually changed in between two versions of an article. So this was another area we improved on. So let me just publish a new version of this article. So as you publish a new version, translation tasks can get created. And this is a feature that was released in New York, but that has been ported over to Workspace in Orlando. So whenever you publish a new version of an article, translation tasks get created here. And a translator can open the task, see what article needs to be translated, what is the target language, and they can just hit on translate. And they have this side-by-side view again of the original content and the content on the right. If you want, you can leverage any of a third-party machine translation APIs. We provide integration with Google, IBM, and Microsoft translation APIs, but you can almost configure any translation APIs that are used in the industry. So if you want, you can optionally do a machine translation. So once the machine translation is over, you can create a draft article and publish it like a German translation of the original article. So the translation feature is also here. The other thing that we have in Workspace is to look at your feedback tasks. So for example, if I, as a different user, if I give feedback on this article, so let's say I rate this article as low and say that fix information. or optionally, I can even flag this article. Flagging is mostly for internal users, but because of the configurability of the platform, you can actually open this up for other users, but it's typically a internal user capability. So on both of these tasks, you will see that feedback task gets created. So this is the feedback task that just got created. And again, from this feedback task, you may choose to edit the article. You may choose to create a new article based on what comments was provided by the user. If you want to edit the article, you can directly edit the article from here. Similarly, if you, as a different user, if I flag the article, then a task gets created and assigned to the author of the article or to an ownership group that has been linked with the article. So you can open the flag task for this. And again, like any other feedback task, you can go on and edit the article or create a new article. So all of these capabilities are available on the list on the left-hand side. If you have any translation tasks assigned to you, you can look at that as well. So you can directly translate from, you don't have to go to the article, and you can just open the translation task and translate from here. So those were the different features that we had in the article experience. Now we'll open a case and see how the article experience has changed. So this is a case, and we have the agent assist over here, and we added the resizability of the agent assist. So if you need more real estate to look at your articles, you can do that. So I'll just do a search on knowledge articles. So on this article, I have this preview. If I want a bigger screen, I'll just move it around. And once I click on it, I'll get a bigger view of this article. If this is still not enough space, then you can either click on this link or go to view full article to see this article. Okay, so basically where you go is a article view of this article, and then from that there you can either check out, which is fix the article, or from the other this pane you can flag the article from here as well. So you have the flag and fix cases capability over here. If you want, you can also attach this article. If it is relevant to the case, you can put your comments here for the customer to see. The article gets attached to the case. What you do is, if you do not find any relevant articles here, you can also create a new article from the case. So earlier there was no support for templates, but now if you click on create knowledge in Orlando, you are asked to choose a knowledge base, and you can choose a knowledge base and choose a template on which you want to create the article, and create the article from here. So the template support has also been added to case so that you can create articles in any template, and it will automatically copy over the related information from the case onto the article based on the CSM table map, so that you can create the article easily. Another thing that you can do from the case is we already had similar we have also added similar articles. So if you, instead of just doing a simple search on the knowledge articles, if you want to do a similarity based search and find out your relevant knowledge articles using machine learning algorithms, you can do that. So that feature has also been added to the workspace. So as you can see, overall, the workspace knowledge capabilities have achieved the parity with the platform, and also we have improved on a few areas. The one area that we did not port in Orlando is the knowledge blocks. So knowledge blocks are still available on platform, and we plan to add that to the workspace in an upcoming release. But apart from knowledge blocks, all other authoring and agent capabilities are now available in Agent Workspace. I'll take a pause here if there are any questions.
No questions from my side, Lokenath.
No questions yet. This is a very thorough demo.
Okay. The next capability that we're going to present is scope knowledge bases, and this was a use case mostly from SecOps or HR sort of knowledge requirements, because they might have some articles. For example, if you have let's say remuneration information on some article, and only some HR agents are allowed to see it, you don't even want your knowledge administrator or your system administrator to see that article. You don't want to know HR details of other employees, right? So you want to secure those articles. Or let's say it's a security team and they're managing articles which has some details on your hardware infrastructure, and you don't want your other employees to look into that information. And even if they are like system administrators of ServiceNow or knowledge administrators, they should not be able to see it. So earlier, the default read and write access of every knowledge base was available for knowledge admins and system admins. And this feature, scope knowledge bases, allows an additional layer of security, so that even if you want to limit the access of knowledge admins and system admins from your knowledge base, you can do that. And you can choose what you want. So if you want them to just read and not write, you can do that. If you want them to not read or write, you can do that. So all of that configurability is there. So if you want to create a knowledge base in a scope tab, that's the scope knowledge base will help you in that. So let us quickly see how to do that. So I have logged in as. Sorry, was there?
Your audio? Can you double check your audio? Thank you.
Okay, I'll take a pause to check the audio.
It sounds good now. For a moment there, you were a little muffled. So, okay, it's all good. Thank you.
Sorry about that. So as an application administrator, what you can do is you can choose your application from the application picker. So for this demo, I'll choose, let's say this application. And now I want to create a new knowledge base as this application admin. So you can see that the application has been automatically copied over to this knowledge base. And if I, let's say, my KB, and just choose an owner. So this KB is created. Now if I log in as a knowledge admin, so Becky is a knowledge admin, and let's see what knowledge bases she can look at. Okay, so I didn't change the application. Just give me a second. So now Becky has logged in the global. Okay, so yeah, there's some error over here, but the idea here is that Becky should not be able to see the KB that was created in a different scope. So the scope knowledge bases actually would restrict Becky from accessing this article, this knowledge base, and even if a system administrator logs in from a different scope who do not have. So it's possible that Becky has application admin access to MIM, but if she didn't have that application administrator access to the MIM scope, she'll not be able to see this KB, and the read or write access of this KB will be defined by the can read and the can contribute user criteria. So the user criteria will define which users can contribute here. So actually, yeah, this has been okay. So let me that. Just trying it again. Have some time. So right now, this knowledge base, if you look at the contribute access, I'll first change this. So let's say I add this particular role to contribute. So only these users can contribute, and okay. So basically Becky can access this because the knowledge base is open to essentially internal, which is an internal user, and Becky is also an internal user. But if you and this is because of a different plugin that's got installed for customer service, but in a without any other plugins or any other restrictions, if you set the scope, the knowledge base scope to a particular application, then the read and contribute access will be defined based on the can contribute and can read you have defined here, and not based on the system admin or knowledge admin permissions of a user. So sorry, I couldn't demo it here, but yeah, that's how this feature is supposed to work. So Becky is able to access because there's another role that has access to this knowledge base. So without that, if it was only this user criteria that was able to contribute, then Becky wouldn't be able to contribute because she's not a AWA manager or admin. So that's about scope knowledge bases. And those end the demos that we have for this session. We'll talk about a few other features that we released in Orlando. Just quick check for any questions till now. Hello.
No questions on my side, Lokenath.
Okay.
No question. Thank you.
So a couple of other features that are really useful, but not big enough to demo. I'll talk about them. One is scheduled article publishing. So as you know, before Orlando, whenever you send an article for approval, the moment it is approved, it directly becomes published and is available to the users it is meant for. But with Orlando, we have added a new field called scheduled publish date. So if you add a date and time to the scheduled publish date field, which is there on the knowledge form, if you don't see your knowledge form, if it is a custom form that you have created, then you can add this field to your form. This is added out of the box. You don't need any plugins except for the knowledge advanced. So if you have knowledge advanced, you should be able to add this date. So if you specify a date on your knowledge form before you send it for approval, then even if the article gets approved, it doesn't get published before the date mentioned in the field. If you by mistake put a pass date, then it works like any other instant publish article. So the benefit is you can control when your article is visible to end users. You can synchronize if you have any releases or announcements that you want your article to be published with it. So this was released in Orlando and is getting good reviews from the customers who are using it. Hopefully this helps you. The second feature that we want to talk about is knowledge blocks. Knowledge blocks has seen a fair amount of usage in our customers, but before Orlando, it only used to support the standard article template. So the customers who were using other templates, other out-of-the-box templates or their own custom templates had this requirement to add the support for knowledge blocks in those as well, and that has got added in Orlando. So if you so basically, if you want to add a knowledge block to a template article, you can do that. You can create your own custom template and add knowledge blocks there, or you can do it from an out-of-the-box template. So this really combines the two capabilities of reusable content of knowledge blocks and standardizing article formats using templates. And hopefully, this will be very useful for our customers. So with that, we have come to an end of the feature overview of Orlando. If you have any questions, please ask on the community thread or on the chat here. We'll be happy to take your questions.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, we hope that we see you on the community. We have some other upcoming events coming soon, so you want to find those on that community link that I've provided in the chat. And we thank you all for joining us today.